it's very clear that at this moment in the United States, there is a desire to kill Christians. I know some people are gonna, whether we talk about Mormons or Christians or not, they were identified enough to be Christians to be part of a hate attack. So, we can definitely have that discussion. I certainly have my own opinions. I've made them clear before, but now is not the time to have that debate. Now is the time to rally around people who have been killed in a terror attack, have been targeted in a terror attack. And so I think that we need to recognize that ultimately churches are going to continue to be a target of terrorism. Again, remember just a few weeks ago, multiple Catholic children killed because they were Christians. Okay. So this is now something that leftists are doing on a regular basis. Again, we don't know if this guy is a leftist, so I'm not making that claim here, but we do know that other attacks have been by trans, whether it's the trans shooter in Nashville killing multiple Christians, including children, like a year ago or a year ago now, or if it's the shooting at the Catholic school. It is very clear that that churches have become a target of violence, particularly left-wing violence in the United States. So a couple things need to happen here. Okay, first, of course, your personal responsibility as a Christian man. Okay. It is your personal responsibility as a man, obviously, to defend you and yours. That's just your basic role. That is your reason for being. Many of us don't have to face violence on a regular basis anymore, which is a blessing of of a somewhat civilized society. But to your core, you were designed, you were made as a man to stand and defend those around you. So that's just your duty as a man. As a Christian man, obviously, it is your duty to protect the flock. The church is an extension of your family. And just as you would defend your family, you need to stand ready to protect the church. So that means that you need to get a firearm. You, Christian man, you need to get a firearm. If you don't own a firearm, you need to get one now, not later. Don't think about it. Don't make a lot of considerations. You need to arm yourself immediately. If you're a Christian man and you can purchase a firearm, you need to do so. Second, you need to be training with that firearm. Okay? You don't just go buy the firearm and throw it in a desk somewhere or in a closet in a nightstand. You need to be training on a regular basis. Okay? There are now very affordable pistols that are of good quality. That are not extremely expensive. You can get like the CZ P10s. You can get Shield, Smith and Wesson Shields. These are all $300 to $400. Reliable guns that are accurate and are not very expensive. You can go out. You can get these. You need to go to the range. Make sure you're running ammunition through that gun. Okay, you need to make sure that you have you can have cheaper ammunition for practice, but you need to be practicing with the ammo that you would be loading into your gun. You need to, even if it's more expensive, you need to make sure your gun reliably fires the self-defense ammo that you are purchasing. You can practice with the range ammo most of the time, but make sure your gun functions properly with that ammo. And you need to spend time, be intentional. You can, if cost is an issue, going to the range, ammo and range time can be expensive. It's a little bit of a investment up front, but there is a system. There are several different systems. I have one personally that is you get a laser bullet, like you drop basically a laser pointer that goes off when you pull the trigger of your gun, and you get a target. That comes with it. You put your phone in like a little holder that looks at the target and reads where the laser goes, and this allows you to dry fire your weapon, practice your trigger pulls, practice drawing from a holster. You need to train. Okay, you need to spend time. That will give you the ability to train at home for a less expensive in a less expensive way. You can train every day, and you should be training with your gun every day if you have one of these home systems. Okay, so do that. Practice with the gun. Practice dry firing at home. Take it to the range on a reasonable time. Spend time training. Okay. The next thing you need to do is prepare to conceal carry. You need to be carrying the gun with you when you go anywhere. Anywhere you go. You need to be carrying a gun as long as you are legally allowed to carry the gun there. Now, in my state, like Florida, you don't need a concealed carry permit. You can legally carry a gun without a concealed permit. Again, as long as you're not carrying it into schools or specific government buildings, there are restrictions, but you can carry the gun without any special, background or training or anything like that. Now, there are some states, many states where you can open carry. Florida is actually one of those now. I do not suggest open carrying. That says, shoot me first. Okay. The upside of open carry in your state is that if there's some kind of accident, if your shirt blows up, your jacket blows up, the wind takes it, you get snagged on something, and somebody sees your gun in a concealed carry only state, you could get arrested, right? But if you could be in legal trouble. But if you are in an open carry state, then you are covered by the open carry law, even though you are concealed carry. So I don't advise open carrying. I advise concealed carrying. Okay. I don't want the bad guy to know I have the gun. I don't want him to know that he should shoot me first or that he could take my gun because he can see it visibly. But the open carry laws are nice because then if there's any kind of accident with printing or your gun being shown, you are covered. But you need to conceal carry. Get a good holster, a quality holster. Inside the waistband usually is the way to go. Make sure that the gun is something that you can conceal properly with your clothing. I'm not going to, maybe one day we'll get a breakdown on best concealed options and all those things. But these are just things you need to do. You need to buy a firearm. You need to be training with that firearm, know how to use it safely on a regular basis, not just take it to the range once to make sure it works. Time on trigger all the time. Spend your time learning how to fire that gun and carry it everywhere, because the last thing is you need to be carrying it in your church. Okay. It's just, you cannot outsource your safety to someone else in these times. Okay. Right now we are in a situation where violent leftists want to kill you. You need to be prepared in the instance that something happens to your church. Again, we don't know what the motivation was with this guy. I'm not blaming the left on, this one on the left, because we just don't know at the moment, but other situations have already occurred. You need to be prepared. You and your church need to be prepared to defend the people in that church. That means it is your duty, your individual duty. I don't want to hear about anyone else. We'll talk about the wider response in a second. But you listening to this right now, this is your duty. You cannot outsource it to anyone else. It is your job to protect yourself and the people around you, including your church. Your church should be filled with men packing guns, prepared to defend your church. The end. You can't outsource it to anyone else. Okay. If someone comes into your church, this guy drove a truck into the church. Okay. That was part of the attack. Something like that happens, there should be a hail of gunfire coming from the congregation to make sure that guy never takes a step out of that truck. Okay.